Hello everyone, I am Yuriko Kelda, and for today's video lecture, we are going to tackle Philippine mythology, legendary deities, Mindanao divinities. The objectives of this lesson are as follows. First, identify the different gods and goddesses of Filipino mythology. Second, recognize how myths influence the local culture, and third, appreciate the cultural heritage of the Filipinos through myths and legend. If you think the Tagalog and Visayan mythology are mind-blowing enough, well, wait until you see what Mindanao has to offer. Let's start. The ancient Mindanao deities of Filipino mythology. Religion and culture in the South are unique because of the Muslim and Hindu-Javanese influences that shaped them. As a result, the way our Mindanaoan ancestors worshipped the spirits in the pre-colonial era combined both their old beliefs and those of the foreigners they came in contact with. And did you know that the colorful and fascinating Mindanao mythology would have probably died with their ancestors were it not for the few dedicated people who took the risk to study them? The first mention of the Bagobos was in a letter written by a missionary named Father Mateo Gisbert S.J. However, Laura Estelle Watson Benedict, an anthropologist, and Faye Cooper Cole authored the book The Wild Tribes of Davao District, Mindanao. These two authors at the dawn of 20th century went the extra mile and lived with the Bagobo tribe. They immersed in their culture and wrote all the data they collected in their books. Thanks to the hard work of these researchers, we now have an idea of how our Mindanaoan ancestors made sense of everything. The Mindanao mythology is as colorful as the many tribes that lived in the island. They include the Bagobo, Manobo, Bukidnon, Subanon, and Tiruray, among others. Now let's jump right in and explore the magical world of the ancient Mindanao. Among the Bagobos of Mindanao, a supreme god called Pamulak Manobo was considered the creator of everything. In Laura Watson's Benedict's Bagobo myth, this Diwata, a general term for deities, was also believed to be the creator of the first man and woman, Tuglay and Tuglibon. Another version suggests that the first humans were shaped out of cornmeals and given life by Tuglay and Tuglibon, not by Pamulak Manobo. Going back to Benedict's version of the story, Pamulak Manobo also created an eel or kasili and a crab or kayumang. These two creatures are always together, and every time the crab bites the eel, an earthquake occurs. Pamulak Manobo was believed to be in control of the other natural occurrences. When it rained, for example, the Bagobos believed it was the great god spitting or throwing water from the heaven. The white clouds, on the other hand, were actually the smoke from the fire produced by the other gods. Similar to his Luzon and Visayan counterparts, this Bagobo god was also assisted by other lower-ranking deities. Among them were Mandaragan and his wife Darago, the gods of war who lived inside Mount Apo, Tigyama, the protector of families, and Tarabumo, the god of agriculture, and whom a shrine called Parobanyan was built for. There were also bad spirits working for Pamulak Manobo, including Buso, who fed on the flesh of the dead and was described as huge beings with curly hair, big feet and long nails, small arms, and possessed two big pointed front teeth. For our next deities, we have Tuglay and Tuglibon. The Lay in Tuglay means man in Malay, while the Libon in Tuglibon means virgin. Tuglay and Tuglibon are two of the most prominent figures in ancient Bagobo culture. In Hocano's outline of Philippine mythology, they are classified as assistants to Pamulak Manobo and were responsible for the birth, marriages, language, and customs of the tribe. In other sources, however, these two deities were either the creator of the world or co-creator of humanity. One of the Bagobo myths compiled by the anthropologist Laura Estelle Watson Benedict even shares similarities with the biblical story of Adam and Eve. Maybuyan and Lumabat. According to one Bagobo and Manobo myth, there once lived two deities named Lumabat or god of the sky and Maybuyan, the goddess of the underworld. Both were siblings but complete opposites of each other. The ritual bath, known as pamalugu, is done so that the spirits will not return to their earthly bodies and disrupt their journey to the underworld. Note that the Manobo or Bagobo underworld, at least the one ruled by Maybuyan, has a relatively more positive connotation. It's not a place where you can find a lake of fire and where the unbelievers are punished forever. In the book Arakan, where rivers speak of the Manobo's living dreams by Kaliwat Theater Collective, Dato Mangad Tasugkawan gives us an interesting description of Maybuyan and her domain. It says, Maybuyan, the diwata of the afterlife who takes care of all the souls before they receive Manama's judgment. Maybuyan's entire domain is of pure gold on which the soul could clearly see its reflection. The souls there only talk about good and sensible things. If one starts to talk, everybody else listens. There is no need for food. Maybuyan's domain in the underworld is where the soul lives a second life after its body, the physical twin, dies. And in the Ata Manobo, at the crossroads of tradition and modernization by Orlando O. Bajo, Maybulan, this deity takes care of the spirits in a place located at the bottom of the earth called Sumowo, where the souls can only experience peace and happiness as they await their final judgment. For our next god, we have Tagbusan. He is considered the supreme god of Manobos and the highest-ranking deity who ruled over the destiny of both gods and men. Just like others of his kind in the Philippine mythology, Tagbusan was also helped by other lesser divinities. Among those who assisted Tagbusan in his day-to-day responsibilities is Kakiadan, the goddess of rice, Taphagan, the goddess of harvest, Tagbanwa, the rain god, Umauwi-uwi, god of clouds, Sugudun or Sugujun, the god of hunters. Tagbusan was also helped by Libtakan, god of sunrise and sunset, Yumud, god of water, Ibu, the queen of the underworld, and Apila, god of wrestling and sports. If the Manobos have deities with good intentions, of course they also have deities with evil intentions. We have Agui, a diwata who urged men to indulge in sexual excesses. Tagabayaw, the goddess who convinced people to engage in adultery or incest. Now let's move on to Magbabaya, the highest-ranking deity considered in Bukidnon. This deity is offered betel nuts during the annual Pangampo ceremony. These betel nuts, which remind one of sailing ships, are called binangan and they are especially dedicated to the highest god, Magbabaya. For the other lesser divinities who assisted Magbabaya, we have Dumalongdong, the deity of the north wind, Ognaling, the deity of the south wind, Tagalawambung, the deity of the east wind, and Magbaya, the divinity of the west wind. There are other interesting deities of Bukidnon mythology. They have Ibabasag, patroness of pregnant women, Ipamahandi, goddess of the accident, Tao sa Suluk, god of material goods, Tigbas, the most respected by the Bukidnon, and Busaw, god of calamity. Mindanao is composed of many tribes, and in each tribe, one can find plenty of deities and supernatural beings. For the Tirurais, they have Suwala or Tulus god who lived in the sky. For Gianges, they have Tigianes, creator of the world, Manama, her governor, and Tudlay and Tudlibun, gods of love and marriage. And for the Subanuns, they have Diwata sa langit, god of heaven, Tagma sa dagat, lord of the sea, Tagma sa yuta, lord of the earth, Tagma sa uba, lord of the rivers, and Tagma sa langit, god and protector of the sick. And that would be all for Philippine mythology, legendary deities, Mindanao divinities. Again, I am Yurika Okelda. Thank you for watching.